It's hard to tell when a woman likes you. It's even harder to tell when she's ready to sleep with you, isn't it? In this video, I want to show you 9 things a woman says when she wants to sleep with you, but doesn't want to make it too obvious. Normally, directly expressing these desires isn't very feminine behavior. Most men never notice these signs, so they unknowingly miss out on many opportunities with women. But by the end of the video, you'll be able to recognize these signs whenever you see them and take action without hesitation. So watch carefully and keep watching. From now on, I will be your personal assistant. My job is to explain to you the difference between what women really want and what they say they want, and to provide you with the most effective methods for winning over any woman you like. So press the subscribe button right now. That way, you won't miss out on our educational videos like this one. All right, let's begin. Here are 9 things a woman will say when she's sexually interested in you. First, you're the devil. This sentence sounds simple, but it actually carries a deep mixture: fear, admiration, passion, and surrender intertwined. When a woman says this, she actually means, you control me, but I'm not bothered by it. Because women feel an irresistible attraction to men who shake them emotionally and awaken a powerful energy within them. At that moment, you realize you're not ordinary, playing it safe, the good boy type. There's a darkness in you, a mystery, a danger, but it's precisely this danger that makes him feel alive. When she's with you, her heart beats a little faster because she can't quite predict what will happen. That uncertainty, that sense of unpredictability, triggers the release of adrenaline and dopamine in her brain. And women, whether they realize it or not, define this chemical mix as attraction. He senses that you have a weakness and that you are not entirely innocent in this game. Maybe you're not in control of your desires. Maybe you're testing her boundaries. But you do it with natural confidence, not in a rude or aggressive way. That's when a woman starts to see you as not just attractive, but dangerously desirable. On one hand, your inner voice says, be careful, while on the other, your instinctive side whispers, let go, live. And most of the time, that side wins. Because women choose to stand by the men who make them feel, not the cold, safe, logical one, the man who ignites a fire within them, who makes their heart race, always wins. Secondly, you smell wonderful. You may not even realize it, but scent is one of the most powerful and primal sensory cues that trigger women's interest. A nice pair of shoes, a pleasant style of dress, or an impressive hairstyle will certainly attract attention. But these usually remain superficial. They don't go beyond aesthetic appreciation. However, if a woman turns to you and says, oh my God, you smell amazing, that's when things change. This is no longer a compliment on your style, but an expression of subconscious attraction. Because when women notice a man's scent, they actually transcend physical distance. At that moment, she perceives not with her nose, but with her emotions. If she tells you this, it's not just about the scent. It's about the closeness she feels towards the you that scent represents. A woman won't even be inclined to notice your scent unless she feels close to you. However, this awareness emerges in a man who attracts her interest, whom she finds emotionally or biologically appealing. So, this sentence is much more than just a simple compliment. It's a polite and indirect way of saying, I feel comfortable around you. I want to get closer to you. From that moment on, the ball is in your court because they've already gotten closer to you in their mind. Now it's up to you to make it a reality, to truly close the distance. Third, I don't usually do this. When you hear this sentence from a woman's mouth, the decision has actually already been made. This is not just an innocent expression or a shy defense statement. It is an outward expression of her inner approval of how far she will go with you. When a woman says this, she is trying to prepare both her own conscience and you, because she knows that what she is about to do conflicts with her usual self. That's why, by saying, I'm not normally like this, but, she legitimizes her own behavior and creates an excuse for herself. This sentence is also a hidden signal. I'm crossing my boundaries for you. Women don't say this to just anyone, because this phrase comes with a special feeling or sexual attraction. At this point, the woman is attracted to you. She desires you, but she also fears being judged. That's why she wants to remove judgment from the equation. Essentially, this sentence is the moment a door opens. Saying, I don't usually do this, means this situation is different. You are different. What she's really saying is, yes, I want you, but please don't misunderstand me. By saying this, she convinces both herself and you, because instinctively, she's trying to strike a balance between shame and desire. Therefore, when a woman says this, you need to understand it not literally, but through its emotional subtext. This is not a defense. Most of the time, it is the silent harbinger of an approaching intimacy. Fourth, it's getting late. But this is so much fun. If a woman says this to you, there is actually a much deeper subtext behind the words. This sentence is an elegant, emotional, and indirect way of saying, don't go, stay longer. The woman doesn't want to make an explicit invitation because she is afraid of appearing too eager in this situation. Yet, she also doesn't want the moment to end. So this sentence is both a tentative invitation and an emotional test. It's late, he says, speaking logically, but then surrenders to his feelings, saying, but this is so much fun. This is the classic conflict between the logical side of the brain and the impulsive side of the heart. If he really just wanted to go home, he would have used clear and definitive sentences like, I have to go, or I have to get up early tomorrow. But what he's doing here is passing the buck to you. The woman is actually saying, I want to stay, but you have to make the first move. This is passive consent. If you read that message correctly, the woman sees it as a natural progression because she has already laid the groundwork. In short, the phrase, it's getting late, but this is so much fun, is not a refusal. On the contrary, it is an invitation to continue. But it is an invitation made with the freedom to say, you started this, without taking responsibility. Fifth, do you live nearby? This question may seem like an ordinary conversational phrase, but it is actually much more than that. When a woman asks this, the interaction between you has usually reached a threshold. It is no longer just a pleasant conversation. An atmosphere has been created that holds curiosity, attraction, and possibilities. If you've been in sync with her for a while, laughing together, making eye contact, not noticing how time flies. This question is a signal that she wants to take that bond a step further. She has begun to wonder what it would would be like to spend more time with you. Maybe she's trying to figure out if she lives near your place, or if she can create an excuse to be alone with you. At this point, she may not be sure yet. She may be weighing up how far to go. But one thing is certain: the idea of being alone with you is now on her mind. This shows that she is interested in you emotionally or physically, and that her desire to get to know you better is growing. Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean he'll invite you over or that ye be together, but it clearly shows that his interest and trust are growing, that the energy between you is moving in the right direction. In this case, what you need to do is not rush things, but preserve that energy, continue to be yourself, and create a natural space for closeness. Because in moments like these, taking the right steps creates the strongest spark that ignites a relationship. Sixth, do you really think I'm that innocent? When a woman says this, it's not just a simple expression of curiosity. It's a test. She's gauging how you perceive her. Do you see her only as a good, innocent, or pure woman? Or do you notice that there are other layers beneath the surface? Desires, curiosities, suppressed emotions. She wants to understand this. Such a phrase is as clever a test as an invitation, and the woman wants to see what place she holds in your eyes. She wants you to realize that she is not just a pretty face, a quiet character, that inside, like every woman, there lives a complex, attractive, sexual side. Because a woman would not say this to a man she is not interested in. She does not feel the need to reveal those deep, intimate layers to someone indifferent. In fact, this is the moment the mask slips. When the woman says, "I'm not just a good girl," she implies that she is ready for emotional and physical intimacy, and even wants this intimacy to be noticed. Behind these words lies both a call and a challenge. Can you really see me, or are you only seeing what you want to see? In short, if a woman says this to you, she is no longer just having a casual conversation with you. This is a sign that the dynamic between you is changing, that trust and desire are beginning to melt together. Seventh, you are different. Hearing this sentence from a woman's mouth actually carries a much deeper meaning than you might think. This shows that she places you in a separate category compared to other men she knows or who have entered her life. Women don't usually express their feelings directly. They hide meanings beneath their words. When she says, "You're different," what she really means is this: you seem more interesting, deeper, more special to me than the others. You don't often hear this kind of statement from an indifferent or neutral woman. If a woman feels nothing for you, she won't say something like this. Instead, she will be distant and reserved. But if she says, "You're different," there is something about your energy, your speech, your attitude that draws her to you. Maybe it's a look. Maybe it's your calmness. Maybe it's the uniqueness of your perspective on the world. A spark that makes her wonder who you are. This also shows that that woman has compared you in her mind to men from her past and present. She has a list of male profiles in her head, and you don't fit on that list. She can't give her usual responses when talking to you because she doesn't know where to place you. That's why when she says you're different, what's actually going through her mind is, this guy's energy is different. This sentence often indicates that a door has been opened, because when a woman perceives difference in a man, she wonders where that difference might lead. This curiosity can sometimes turn into emotional closeness, sometimes into physical attraction. Women are not interested in men who make them feel ordinary, but in men who emotionally awaken them. In short, when a woman tells you, "You're different," it's not just a compliment. It's a confession from her subconscious. For her, you are no longer just another guy, but a man with a unique meaning. And this is one of the clearest, most elegant signs that she's interested. Eighth, so what happens now? This sentence, when spoken by a woman, is not just a question. It is the moment when she hands over control of the night to you, waiting for you to take charge. When a woman says this, there is already tension, an expectation in the air. Even the silence is charged with electricity. With this question, she is actually saying, "Guide me, shape this moment." At this point, the woman doesn't want the interaction to end. She doesn't expect you to leave, say goodbye, or act distant. On the contrary, she wants the moment to linger a little longer, for the contact or closeness to progress naturally. With the phrase, "So what happens now?" she actually opens the door for you, because she is also affected by you. She is aroused by you, but she doesn't want to say it directly. Because by nature, a woman invites, she doesn't declare. Your job is to read between the lines. When she says that, she's testing your resolve. If you're a man who knows what he wants and is confident in himself, you take control of the moment and naturally elevate the energy of the situation. If you hesitate, that magic disappears. In short, "So what happens now" actually means, "I'm ready, but what will you do?" 9. We won't be making love tonight. Most men immediately back away when they hear this sentence. They put up a wall. Because at first glance, it seems like a definite rejection. But in reality, this phrase often implies the exact opposite. A woman bringing up this topic is actually the strongest sign that the idea of sex has already started circulating in her mind. If a woman were truly uninterested, she wouldn't bring up the subject, wouldn't even hint at it. When she says, "We won't have sex," she's actually saying, "This thought is on my mind, but I want to be in control." The issue here is not the absence of sexual desire, but maintaining emotional and social balance. A woman does not want to appear easy in your eyes. She wants to preserve her self-respect, her mystery, her value. So this sentence, while testing you, also seems to be setting her own boundaries. But behind this boundary lies a strong curiosity, a suppressed attraction, a desire to establish physical intimacy with you. If you don't panic at this point, don't blow things out of proportion, and act mature and relaxed, you will strengthen this attraction. Saying okay to her and changing the subject creates an impression of a safe, controlled, and attractive man in her eyes. Because women are generally drawn not to a man's emotional reactions, but to his emotional control. Your nonchalant attitude will only fuel her curiosity and desire. And then, in the right setting, a quiet, private place where your energies flow uninterrupted, even your simplest touch, even a glance, is enough. The woman who said no until that moment lets down all her walls, because she now feels you're not pressuring her, just connecting. And that's when, in 9 out of 10 cases, she allows that moment to happen without any resistance. If you want to deepen the attraction between you, make her desire you, and get her to the point where she practically wants to kiss you. The key here is not pressure, but patience, touch, energy, and timing. When a woman feels emotionally secure, she opens up physically most easily, and your calm, confident, guiding yet respectful attitude will draw her to you step by step. Even if you are shy, clumsy, or simply haven't practiced, actually, once you learn this, you can get women. Because women are programmed to feel attraction and excitement when you say these kinds of things or these exact phrases to them. I promise you, this is something that completely changes the rules of the game and will forever change how women look at you and react to you. That said, thank you for watching this video to the end. See you next time.